All programs on planet Earth do something. That's why they exist. They will take in some information, usually supplied by us, they will do some calculations on it, and they will give an answer. The process of a computer program giving some form of response is called output. For example, take the calculator on your Windows 10 computer. You will open it, click the number 1 on the keyboard and the number 1 appears on the screen, click the plus sign and a plus sign appears on the screen, click the number 1 and the number 1 appears on the screen, click equals and the number 2 appears on the screen, as well as the sequence of numbers, 1 plus 1. If we look at the steps we mentioned, the outputs are anything that is printed out to the console. That includes the number 1, the plus sign, the number 1, the number 2, the sequence 1 plus 1 equals 2. Outputs from a program can take many different forms. In the above example, the outputs from the calculator program were numbers and letters on a screen. However, if you think about all of the programs you use, you can get many different outputs. Your favourite game can make your mobile device vibrate, a player for music, a player for video clips, a science calculator displaying a series of numbers and showing a graph, saving information to a file on a hard drive, and storing information in a database. The majority of the outputs you will be dealing with in your GCSE are words and numbers on a screen. In our lesson on pseudocode, we saw that to output some text, we would need to use the command word output. For example, to print out "Hello World" using AQA pseudocode, we would write the following code. If you wanted to write the same code for an actual high-level programming language, it can differ depending on the language you are using. We will look at the language Python for our examples. To print "Hello World" to the console window in Python, you would type the following. You'll notice this is different from how we did it in pseudocode. Remember, not everything between Python and AQA pseudocode are the same, though there are some similarities. The more important things to notice with this code are, you need to open and close brackets, anything between those brackets gets printed out on one line, anything between those brackets must be inside quotation marks. If you wanted to print out "Hello" and "World" on 2 separate lines, you could use this code. You could also use a new line character to achieve the same effect. Here, /n is telling Python that everything after it starts on a new line. This use of slash is a special case and is called the escape character, and tells Python that the letter after it does something special. In this case, go on to a new line. Let's look at that previous code example again. As we mentioned earlier, all words between the brackets in print need to be enclosed in quotation marks. But what would happen if we made a spelling mistake? What would happen if we tried to run the following code? Well, we would get an error such as the one you see here. This is because the program is expecting everything between the brackets to be in quotes. The program doesn't know what "world" is. Notice that the Python program has identified that there is a problem and has identified where the error has occurred, it says line 2, and identified the type of error, it says name error, name world is not defined. Programming IDEs have debugging tools to help find and correct errors by identifying information like the above. We'll learn more about this later in the course. So, outputs occur when information is generated by a program and comes out of it. Outputs can take many different forms and types, from text on a screen to playing sound. To print in Python, you would use the print command. Anything between the brackets needs to be in double quotes. If you want to print on new lines, you can use many print statements or use the /n escape character. If you miss out on your double quotes or put them in the wrong place, you will get an error.